Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the question answer of the chapter 2 of NCERT Geography class 6, and the chapter head is Globe and Latitudes and Longitudes. So the chapter name suggests about the globe, latitudes and longitudes, and here we get the first question from the chapter, that is, what is globe? You can get this here, that is, globe is a true model, that is, a miniature form of the earth, and it may of varying size and types, that is big ones and small ones. So you have to write this along with your answer. And the next question come here is, what is axis? And here you get the axis, that is, if you the needle is fixed through the globe in a tilted manner is called axis, and 2 points on the globe through which the needle passes are 2 poles, that is north pole and south pole. And here you get the MCQs, that is, globe is not fixed, what is axis, what is north pole, what is south pole, etc. So please read carefully for your MCQs. And this is the very short answer type question, that is, what is globe and what is axis. And next, the major important question comes, that is, what is equator? That is, if you draw an imaginary line that divides globe into two equal parts, this line is called the equator. And the northern half of the earth is known as the northern hemisphere, and the southern half is known as the southern hemisphere. And if it is come in a very short answer type question, that is for 1 marks, you have to write only one line, that is the imaginary line running on the globe which divides the globe into the two equal parts is known as the equator. And if it comes about number 2 marks, then you have to write about the northern and southern hemisphere also along with this. And then please remember, the equator is an imaginary line, so it can come in the MCQs, that what is imaginary line. And it's a very important reference point to look at places on the earth. And what is the parallels of latitudes? The parallel circles from the earth, from the equator up to the poles, are called the parallels of latitudes. So it also comes for MCQ, comes for one very short answer type questions, that what do you mean by the parallels of latitudes? And the here equator represent what is the latitudes of equator. So please underline this special line, the equator represent the 0 degree latitudes. And this section is very important for this, like the distance from the equator to the either poles is 1/4 of the circle rounder. So it is definitely come in the MCQs, that is the equator, the distance of the poles from equator. Please line, that is 1/4 of 360 degree, that is 90 degree. Please remember this and must underline in your book. And what do you mean by north latitude? The north of the equator are called the north, parallels of north of the equator are called the north latitude. Similarly, the parallel south of the equator are called south latitude. So don't be confused. Remember, the north parallels of equator to the north side is called north latitude, and south latitude also comes for MCQ. And this is, we donate N for north and S for south. We all know that. And this, remember, yes, this, remember this section also, if it comes like that, while Maharashtra and Basils are located on the parallels of about 20 degree at latitudes, like this Chandrapur is situated. So please remember carefully all this paragraph. You can get the example of this for your exam. And in this section, before important parallels of latitudes, you will get a diagram of the earth. You have to practice this diagram very carefully, according to your perfections, because it will take 2 marks for the diagram. And next comes, make sure you practice it a lot, all the latitudes, longitudes, equator, all the things properly. And important parallels of the latitudes you will get, that is Tropic of Cancer. It can come along with the all, and you can get the separately. That is what you mean by Tropic of Cancer. What is mean by Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle, everything that what is the latitudes. Next you will get about the heat zones of the earth. So you can come to what do you mean by the heat zone of the earth. So here you get the torrid zone, and the answer is same like the midday sun is exactly over it at least once a year on the all latitudes in between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and this area therefore receive the maximum heat and is called the torrid zone. So what is the torrid zone? Remember, this is the torrid zone. It will be better if it come in the 2 marks. You will add a picture along with this from the above diagram. And the midday sun never shines over it on any latitudes beyond of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So the angle of the sun rays goes on decreasing down towards the poles. Underline this section, that is the angle of sun rays goes on decreasing towards the poles. You can get the question like this where it is decreasing or it is increasing in MCQ. So underline this line, that is the angle of the sun rays goes on decreasing towards the pole. As such, the area is bounded by the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. So what is called the temperate zone? Here you call the temperate zone, and you can also add the picture from the above diagram, that is what is torrid zone, what is temperate zone. And next it's come what is frigid zone. As the name suggests, it means a very cold. So the areas lying between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere are very cold, and this area is called the frigid zone. So you have to write the entire paragraph. So here we get the 3 questions, that is what do you mean by torrid zone, what do you mean by temperate zone, what do you mean by frigid zone. And next is what is longitude. To fix the position of a place, it is necessary to know something more than the latitudes of that place. So here you get the examples, and examples are very important for your MCQ. So carefully read the paragraph and underline all the examples. What do you mean by here you get the degrees of longitudes. Each degree is further divided into minutes, minutes into seconds. So here you get what do you mean by degrees of longitudes. And then the another, here there are semicircles and the distance between the decreases steadily polewards until it becomes 0 at the pole. So here you underline this why you get the MCQ that the it decreases or increases. It can be confusion arise. So please underline this word, that is decreases towards the pole. That's why the pole is 0. And the next question is there, that is what do you mean by the prime meridian. See here, the all countries decided that the count should be begun from the meridian which is passed through Greenwich and where the British Royal Observatory is located, and the meridian is called the prime meridian. Underline the prime meridian and the question of what do you mean by the prime meridian. Its value is 0 degree longitudes, and from it we count 180 degree eastward as well as 180 degree westward. So what is prime meridian and how can we calculate? So the prime meridian, and see here you get that the earth into equal to prime meridian divide the earth into 2 equal halves. Okay, so the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. So till now we read about the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So now we read about the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. So therefore the longitudes of a place is followed by the letter E for the east and the west, W for the west. Okay, so please remember how what is noted. N means north, S means south, E for east and W for west. And interesting facts is about that the 180 degree east and 180 degree west meridians are on the same line. So underline this section, that is 180 degree east and 180 degree west meridians are on the same line. Okay, so you have to follow the grids of the diagram you have beside this. Follow the grid and it will be very easy to remember. And remember carefully all the examples. Examples are very important nowadays for MCQs. And right, if you go down, you will see these places like this. Yes, and then the Here you get the longitudes and the time. What do you mean by the relations between the longitudes and the time? And here you have the when the prime meridian of Greenwich has the sun at the highest point in the country, and all the places along this meridian will have the midday or noon. So underline this section, that is prime meridian of Greenwich has the sun at the highest point in this noon. As we all know, Earth rotates from the west to east, and those places east of Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time, and those to the west will be behind it. And please underline these things, is very important. That is, the east of Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time, and those of the west will be behind it. It is a very important line, and it's a major MCQ questions. And next, that is the earth rotates 360 degree in about 24 hours. We means 15 degree an hour or 1 degree in a 4 minutes. It's also very important. And we calculate, how we calculate that when it is 12 noon at Greenwich, the time at 15 degree east of Greenwich will be at 15 into 4, that is 60 minutes. You can give any places about, and you can give maybe you can give the degree, and then you have to calculate the time. So 1 hour ahead of Greenwich time, which means 1 p.m. But at the 15 degree west of Greenwich, the time will be behind Greenwich time, so by 1 hour. So for the calculation, you need to carefully read the paragraph. And next, yes, and the next we get the what we have the standard time. So what we need the standard time. The local time of places which are on different meridians are bound to differ. For example, it will be difficult to prepare a timetable for train which cross several longitudes in India. So it's also very important that why we need to have a standard time. So please read it carefully. You will get 2 marks question from these sections. And what is the, even for MCQ, you will get the question, that is, what is the full form of IST? What is the full form of IST? So make sure you write it properly with all the capital letter, I for Indian, S for standard, T for time. So you can get the full time of IST and GMT. GMT means Greenwich Mean Time. You can also get the full form of this. And see, Kabir lives in a small town in Bhopal. You can read the timetable here and make sure you practice a little bit. So other than exercise, you will give practice the all the other questions as we discuss, and I give some question here for you or help. And as I told, you will get all the practice questions from this chapter. So please read carefully again and again for MCQs, and underline all the examples, all the degrees of latitudes and everything, and make sure you will remember all this. So I have given a link for my chapter 1 for your practice. Please watch and give your valuable comments, and if you have any doubts, you can write in the comment box. I will definitely try to solve your doubt, and make sure you read it. Thanks for watching.